Hey, Jay here. We're going to give you the top 10 reasons why two strokes are better than four strokes. Okay, so number one is that sound. Who doesn't like that sound? And especially when you're on the motocross track and you're ripping around, it's a pretty incredible sound. Okay, so even on the trail, I kind of still prefer the sound of that two-stroke going rip, 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 rip. And then when you get to a big old hill climb, nothing beats that sound when we're out, right, Spence?
No, it's the best.
It's just such a cool sound. We get to a big sand hill climb or something. So fun, so fun. All right, then the next one is just simply the smell. Who doesn't like the smell of a two-stroke? I don't know. I've yet to find somebody. I guess they're not in my circle of people who don't like the smell of a two-stroke because it smells incredible. We run the Klotz R50, and it's a good clean burning oil that still smells well. So that alone is worth two strokes are better than four strokes. All right, so they're easier to maintain. Now I say that with a few caveats, but chain, sprocket, air filter, fork seals, all that kind of stuff is the same as a four-stroke, right? But the other stuff that's easier is changing out a piston, of course, much easier than doing on a four-stroke. So those types of things, adjusting valves, you don't really got to do that. We don't even hardly clean our power valves. After 100 hours on a piston, we'll put a piston in and power valves clean. You don't even have to hardly do anything. Lighter. Two strokes are lighter. Now, not always. I know there's a few light bikes out there, but they still feel lighter. No matter what, they always feel lighter. Give you a great feel on the track and on the trail. They feel lighter. Okay, so overall, two strokes are a much simpler bike. Obviously, way less electronics, except for the new 23 bikes, KTMs. We're not going to talk about those. But with our current motocross bikes, you got a YZ250, YZ125, that KTM 150 we have. We've got some footage of that thing ripping around. So as a whole, the bikes are more simple, less stuff to deal with, and less electronics to go wrong. Troubleshooting them is pretty easy. Carburetor, clogged pilot jet or something like that if it's not starting. Pretty simple things. It doesn't have spark, a new spark plug in, so you got gas and fuel, starts, you know. There's no weird things usually going wrong with a two-stroke. So that's what's nice about a two-stroke, a lot more simple and easy to play with and modify. This one we got electron carburetor on there. We have some, we run a Kian. We got a cut head on there. It's pretty easy to swap those kind of parts, where on a four-stroke, you're not really gonna switch out your head to a modified head unless you're spending a lot of money to go racing. With a two-stroke, you don't have to do that. It's really simple to add on some performance mods on your race, dirt bike, motocross bike, or your trail bike. Adding on a pipe and silencer and a V-force is really simple and easy to do on your own, where on a four-stroke, that stuff's a lot more difficult and it makes a lot less improvements in many cases. With a four-stroke, you need to get a Vortex ECU or other type of serious tuning and mapping to really make big differences in performance. Two-stroke, pretty simple to get some power gains out of a two-stroke with those simple mods. Okay, so per cc, a two-stroke is still way faster and more powerful. 125 two-stroke, 125 four-stroke, not even close. 250 YZ250 versus a YZ250F. YZ250's got way more power. And I shouldn't say way more, but it is more. That gap is getting closer as they spend all their development on the 250F. That's where all the development's going, and a YZ250 hasn't gotten as many developments, but a KTM 250 SX up here, you know, making really good power, been updated now. But if they'd been making those same updates the last 20 years to two-strokes, pound for pound, two-stroke is still way faster, more powerful versus its counterpart in a four-stroke. Okay, so as a whole, two-strokes don't seem to wear you out as bad, especially on the trail. I can ride this 300, and especially with this counterbalancer engine, no vibration, thing doesn't wear you out as bad as a four-stroke, because on a four-stroke, I can't ride a 250 or 300 four-stroke for the most part. I need to ride a 350 or 450 four-stroke on the trail, which is a lot more bike. Even though it's a good smooth bike, power, it's yanking me and yanking my arms. I'm really much more sore after riding the four-stroke on the trail all day versus riding a two-stroke. So a two-stroke, like this 300, just a lot less wear and tear, I feel like, on you as you're riding it. Okay, so as a whole, two-strokes are cheaper to buy. The current KTMs, you know, the 23 KTMs, I know that those are getting very expensive and right up in there, but as a whole, like a YZ125, YZ250, much less money than a current four-stroke of the same counterpart. So less money there. And used, for sure, you can usually find a lot cheaper on the two-stroke side of things, and especially fixing up old builds. Okay, who wants to fix up a 2005 CRF 450? No one, because it doesn't make any sense, right, financially. But people are totally interested in fixing up a YZ 250 or a KX 250 from 2005 because it's kind of fun. It's nostalgic. You can find one at a decent deal, and you can fix it up yourself and not go crazy rebuilding the crank and valves and all that's involved on a four-stroke engine. So that's one really big thing, is cost. Okay, so the big one is two-strokes are awesome for kids. 50cc, 65cc, 85cc, 112 now, 125, 150cc. Two-strokes are awesome for kids. They build really good skills. They're really good to learn on, and they're just awesome bikes. Good, inexpensive. Again, touches on a lot of the other things we've talked about with being easier to work on, lighter, cheaper, all those things. That's why two-strokes are great for kids, and I think they love the sound and smell and all that combined, so two-strokes are good for kids. Okay, lastly, they're cheaper to fix when things are catastrophic. There are times when catastrophic things happen to the engine. Something breaks, you suck dirt, eventually it just wears out, or something catastrophic happens to a two-stroke, piston breaks, whatever happens, cylinder can usually be fixed. Cylinder's the main thing that goes wrong. Cylinder can be repaired by, like Millennium, can get replated. You can put a new crank on it, new crank in it, or rebuild your crank. You can do a lot of that work with yourself, or you have a lot more choices with a buddy who's experienced to help you. When it's a four-stroke, a lot less options unless you're very experienced in four-stroke engines. So I would say the last big reason would be catastrophic failures. Now, as I say that, the caveat is that the current four-strokes, for the most part, especially the KTM brand of bikes, are really good, last a long time, so you don't get to that point. But used four-strokes, you're just on borrowed time. If you got like a 2018 KX250F and you don't know the whole history of it and how much it's been maintained, you can be on borrowed time on some of these older bikes that could have been ridden hard and not taken very good care of. So that's where that two-stroke can be a lot easier financially down the road. Okay, so that's a good look at the top 10 reasons we feel that two-strokes are better than four-strokes. And I know many people could argue these points, and maybe someday I'll have a video talking about why four-strokes are better, but overall, this is why we think two-strokes are better, and we have lots of two-stroke fans out there, and they are diehard two-stroke guys, and we love them. I just bought this bike back. This is a 2017 TX300 Husky. I'm the first and fifth owner of this bike. Isn't that kind of cool, Spence?
Very cool.
Did you remember riding this bike?
I did. It was one of my favorite 17s of that year.
We sold it to our buddy Jim, good buddy, and he upgraded to one of my bikes, and so he sold it to a guy from Huntington Beach, who then sold it to a guy in Pasadena. And then this last Labor Day, just a couple months ago, I get a screenshot. Jim sends me a note. He sees it on, somebody sends it to him. It's on Facebook. And I go, man, that'd be kind of fun to get. I haven't had a two-stroke for like a year on the trail. We've just been riding them on the track a bit, and so I go, that'd be fun. So I got a good deal on it. I kind of lowballed the guy. He's moving. He wanted to get rid of it. No one had ridden it much, so I got a good deal on it, and we have fixed it up. And look at how cool this thing looks, Vince.
Amazing.
We put a new piston in it, got a new Wiseco. The crank has 160 hours on it, so I don't think we're too worried. Everything feels solid. New FMF pipe, silencer, all of our good parts we use, ODI bars and grips, UFO plastic. I love this flow look. I have it now on two bikes. I've got my dual sport as well. It just stands out. I just really like it. I think it's because the 90s were awesome. And what you still like it?
It looks cool.
It looks cool. It's like nothing else, you know. So it's not like driving down the freeway and somebody knows you have a Honda in the back of your truck or whatever. They don't really know what it is. So it's this Flow yellow bike. And Decal Works did some great graphics for us. We test this thing with Dirt Bike Test. They're going to be riding this thing. Dunlop AT81EX gummy tire. This is my cheater tire from when I'm with Spencer. He can be on a regular knobby. I can be on this and help even it out a little bit. So this helps me get up a lot of those tricky places and the rocks and roots and rock faces. It's just awesome. So really good tire option there. We did the spring conversion with Racetech on the forks. That's really great. And Tom Morgan cut the head for us. We have the Lectron Billetron carb on here. So really cool carburetor. ProMoto Billet has the new kickstand that they updated. That's really nice. Faster USA wheels. I went all out on this thing. I had some older wheels with a 19-inch rear. I had them put an 18-inch on there. So I go, hey, let me just buy a good rim to match the front because the front was still in good shape. We'll run it. And I got an 18 on there. And it's just awesome, man. Recluse torque drive clutch in there. We don't have the auto clutch. A lot of people think Recluse only makes auto clutches. And we do have that going in a couple other bikes. We have in the KX500 we just put in. But in this bike, we run in the torque drive. I like the feel of a conventional clutch, and the durability has been awesome on these things. So we have that torque drive in there, IMS big tank. We didn't go with one we can see the level. We might regret that someday, but it just looks so cool, right, Spence?
It does.
So it looks better.
This bike's got a reserve, so it tells you.
That's true. It's not going to be a lot of notice. So we kind of know most of our rides, and we know how far we can get. And as long as we take someone else with us with a clear tank, we can use them as our gauge. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my theory on that. So really cool parts from Moto Minded on here with my headlight setup. Galfer made me a long line. You saw me post that, right, bud?
Yep.
So the line fits well over the headlight now. And we got the strong output headlight on here. These bikes, these 2017 to 19 300 still had the good lighting output, and you could plug right in, which was kind of cool. So really fun bike. IMS also makes a catch can that's in the frame for when this thing overheats. Hopefully not. But with me riding it, probably will, right? So if I get stuck somewhere, that's a thing. So awesome bike. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you know why 2-strokes are better than 4-strokes. This is just another reason how fun this is. I love all bikes. I don't want to get anybody wrong. They're all awesome. But this little fun talking about why 2-strokes are better. Hopefully you enjoy. Listen to some 2-stroke sounds now.
Hey, Dirt Bike TV here. Today, we're going to be talking about why we use the onX Off-Road app. The onX Off-Road app offers offline maps, which is one of the things we use every single time we go trail riding. All the trail riding we do is off the grid, which means no cell phone signal. So we're able to use the onX Off-Road app on our phones and to be able to not get lost and have a ride mapped out beforehand via their desktop version, and I'm able to draw out lines on the computer and plan a coherent loop that everybody can have fun on. onX Off-Road also offers open dates and public land information for those who are looking to plan out their ride best. The Elite version even has ownership information and property boundaries. The features on the onX Off-Road app are pretty much endless. You can import old KML and GPX files, and you can even see fire information in real time, as well as in-depth weather analysis. Try onX Off-Road today by heading over to the link in our link tree or going over to onxoffroad.com and using the code DBTV1 for a 20% discount. See you out on the trail.